All right, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of Word on the Half. Got a good one for y'all today. Something educational. Give you some shit that you probably haven't heard. I know the majority of you haven't heard yet, so I'm gonna drop something on you. You probably heard us speak along these lines, but we haven't really got into. I don't know if we've really gotten to depth. So let's get into the shit. Let's get into the knowledge, man. Let's get into the knowledge before we get started. I'm Corey Gilmore. Got my co-host with me. Y'all like to introduce yourselves?
Hola, hola, hola.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? It's Randy.
Okay. All right. So y'all see the title? Title is strictly voting to get Donald Trump out of office the right move. We know this is the method that everybody, the majority of people who are against him are going with. I'd like to believe a large portion of the country. It's hard to always gauge this stuff and see where his loyalty lies at, and how many people are with him, how many people against him. I do think a lot of times with the foolishness that goes in the media, right? A lot of people may think that it's working against them, when in all the actuality, so much foolishness that sometimes you may be gaining, sending people over to his side as far as voters. So I know today a lot of people did some voting. Did y'all? I didn't go today. Did y'all vote today?
No, I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
You did.
You did.
Yep.
So when's the deadline?
Deadline for what?
The deadline for the votes.
Today. It's probably over now.
It's all over.
Unless you're on the West Coast.
Yeah, it's all over. So no, it's all good. Yeah, no. But yeah, as y'all already know, shit. If anything, my vote was gonna be for Mr. Lauren Jones right here. My vote was gonna be for Lauren Jones right here. Wasn't gonna be, and we're gonna discuss that. It was gonna be a write-in. It was gonna be a write-in.
I was gonna vote Green Party, but that's neither here nor there.
This vote had nothing to do with the president. This vote was about representatives and your Senate, your police chief.
Yeah.
So this was I mean, it's an opinion, of course, but this one I feel like in a lot of ways has more bearing on your everyday life than the presidential election.
Okay.
Yeah, your local, definitely.
No, yeah, local most definitely has more bearing. You go by the 10th Amendment, it gives the power. Well, he doesn't. It basically allows the states. It doesn't give nor does it restrict, but it allows the states to work within their own sovereignty, so to say, which you see basically infringed upon on a daily basis. They really don't give a damn nowadays, but it is where you start, and holding your state leaders is where it begins. So was today for the presidency? That's not the deadline for the presidency, just for local, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to November to figure that one out.
Okay, yeah, got a little time. So where who do y'all have? Who do you plan on voting for? I know we got Trump, Biden, and then we got our libertarian, which a lot of people don't know about because libertarians don't get endorsed, don't get any endorsement. Is Joe Jurgensen, and then you have a write-in. Vote Lauren Jones for write-in. But so who are y'all planning on rolling with?
I'll go ahead and take the lead on it. I would tell you that right now I'm not 100% decided. If I had to put my eggs in the basket right now, if you were to tell me go ahead and put your eggs in the basket, based off of what's going on with politics right now. I will vote for Biden right now, but I'm undecided because I'm really still trying to understand my footing. You know, I think one of the interesting things today is so when you go to the like I went to the polls today and they was like, and I forgot about this, but they was like, which ballot do you want? And I like for a split second I like blanked, you know, because in these elections, these type of elections, they give you a Republican ballot or they give you a Democratic ballot. So if you
Uh,
ask for a Republican ballot, you don't even see the Democrats. You don't even see them. You know what I'm saying? Or vice versa. If you ask for a Democratic ballot, uh, you don't see the Republicans. So like one of the interesting things, like out where I'm at, is both police chief, both police chiefs were running Republican. So if you ask for a Democratic ballot, you didn't even get to vote for the police chief because they both ran Republican.
really?
Yeah, so I think that's the flaw in voting rights, you know, because I mean I may not like one of them, but I might like the other. You know, the other one may be telling me something a little bit different that I can rock with. So
Yeah.
uh I think that's definitely a flaw, you know, in you know the, it really in reality, you know what I'm saying, that flaw in politics. You know, you have these two major parties, they pretty much run the show, you know, so independents, libertarians, Green Party, they really don't have a real opportunity. They have the opportunity to take away votes, but they don't actually have a real opportunity to quote unquote win. Ask for a Democratic ballot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so from that standpoint, you know, that's one of the major flaws right now, you know, is that if you're not Republican or Democrat, the honest answer is you don't have a chance to win, like at all, you know. And so that's where you get the whole argument about wasted votes if you don't vote Republican or Democrat. Uh, and you know, it's about winning and losing, and that's why you get that. That's honestly why you get that because they want to win. And so they don't want to lose a vote, you know. So that's why you get that well, it's a wasted vote if you don't vote for, you know, one of the two major parties. It's wasted when really voting is a right by law. And so if it's a right by law, it's a right by choice to choose who I want to vote. So instead of saying your vote is wasted, convince me that I should vote for you. You know, don't tell me I'm wasting my vote. Give me a convincing argument on why I should vote for you or why I shouldn't vote, you know, for somebody else, you know, because and it's depend on who you talk to. You know, you have your staunch Democrats and your staunch Democrats, they don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? You could have goddamn Barney on the Democratic ballot and they gonna vote for him. You know what I'm saying? Over any Republican. And the same with Republicans. You know, you could put anybody up there, and as long as you're a Republican, the staunches are gonna vote that way through and through. Uh, you know, and so it's flawed, but it's also about winning and losing. And I think that is what people have to understand that say, oh, you can't just say that to me. They could say anything they want to, you know what I'm saying? Because their job is to get your vote. However, they got to get it. You know what I'm saying? If they got to smear everybody else, candidates will do what they have to do to get your vote. And so
Exactly.
you have to stay steadfast in what you believe in and just know that you didn't waste your vote because you voted in your self-interest, you know, the candidate that you thought represented you the best. uh And it's my job. If I'm running for politics, it don't matter what party you are you riding with. It's my job as the politician to tell you to come swing your vote my way.
What do you say about a person who decides that they do not want to vote? What's your response? We won't even go into the reasons. Just I don't want to vote at all. I don't want to participate.
A person that chooses not to vote. I'm not gonna argue with you. I just don't want to hear you.
And before I say that, because I know I was pushing a "Don't Vote" campaign before, and that's before I realized, we're all learning on a daily. So that's before I realized that write-in was a option. So, like I said, I'm going for a write-in. I'm going for a write-in because I got my reasons for that. So I've changed up. I still I had somebody ask me as my whole ideology as far as voting when changed up, and it's like, no, just my personal method. My ideology is still the same. It should be, as far as a person voting, it shouldn't be somebody died for you to vote. No, somebody have died for you to have the choice to vote. So if a person decides not to vote, that's their choice. But I'll get into that also, the reason and what reason is behind that. But what were you going to say?
I was going to say that if you don't vote, don't complain. Plain and simple. You know what I'm saying? Don't complain about anything, because if you choose the voting, the person you voted for just doesn't win. At least you said, I'm taking the effort to choose somebody that I feel like would best represent me and serve my best self-interest. But if you choose not to vote at all, and you don't have a right to complain. Again, I don't care if you write somebody in. You can write somebody in. You know what I'm saying? Because you felt like that write-in, take your write-in seriously. If you truly believe in somebody, that's a constituent or whatever, go ahead and write them. If you just like, I ain't voting because I don't believe in it. I understand the flaws in it, so therefore it's a waste of my time. Then you know what I'm saying, don't waste my time with bitching about shit that doesn't go in your favor, because you didn't even make an effort at all.
Mm-hmm. So what do you say? What do you say to the method of everybody that they're using? What everybody's doing, just like you see in the title, it's basically to get Joe Biden. I want to hear from both of y'all. Now, there's a glaring flaw with that whole method, but I want to see if y'all can pinpoint this first before I get into it. What is the problem? Or do you even think that's the problem? And not even going with the fact of Joe Biden, but just going with that method of getting a candidate out because of how they may be perceived within the media.
We're literally doing the same exact thing that we did when like 4 years ago, or about 4 years ago, when Hillary was running. You know what I'm saying? They were like, vote for the lesser of evils. We're doing the exact same thing. I'm not wrong on this, but yeah, we're doing the exact same thing.
But why don't you vote for the lesser of two evils? What's wrong with it? Because one may take you to salvation. One may get you what you want. Joe, in a lot of people's eyes, and you know what I'm saying. And I know Lawrence said he'll vote for Joe Biden, and we can get into that. Like, why do you see Joe Biden? I personally see Joe Biden as just as much as a threat as Donald Trump, and I can actually lay out why he's just as much as the Donald Trump. But like I said, for voting, there's different things. It's for, it's more of an individual basis on what that candidate may personally do for you. You know what I'm saying? So, lesser of two evils, like I said, a fucking, a cut, you know what I'm saying? A cut is better than a gunshot wound. You know what I'm saying? So it may benefit people otherwise. So what is the problem with what is the problem with voting for the lesser of two evils or rolling with that method?
That we do it all the time. Look, I still see it as a repeat every time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I swear, I feel like we don't never. I'm not gonna say we, but people don't really do a lot of research on all of their candidates. They'll just go with whoever they went for or the party that they went for in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? They don't really do any research, any of the back research, like far back research on any of the candidates. You know what I'm saying? So it's literally Democrats or Republicans. We're not talking about the Green Party. We're not talking about any of these, like, because there's like minuscule parties that nobody really speaks about. But you know what I'm saying? But that's just how I'm going with it. So,
but there are a high amount. There's a lot of people who have followed CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, all of the, the mainstream websites. A lot of them have a good idea. And then a lot of people have read, upon their candidates and figured out, what's going on with them. That is a problem. There's not enough education, and there is a high majority. Even when you speak to a lot of people, they understand that they don't even understand the person that they're voting for. But then there is, some people, like I said, they see some benefit. They see some special type of benefit that can come, with that candidate, or something that the candidate could do, or at least, it could at least put a Band-Aid. But why don't you specifically vote for the lesser of two evils?
Honestly, I would vote for the lesser of two evils. But honestly, that was me, a few years ago. You know what I'm saying? That's before I did a bunch of research into the candidates and before I was listening to Killer Mike and some of the people that he messes with and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I have a different viewpoint of all my stuff. But I understand why people actually do that though. Like, I understand why they actually listen to or will vote for the lesser of two evils. But
people do it, but there's a reason why they shouldn't do it. Lauren, can you pinpoint it?
We make that choice every day, though. We make a lesser of two evils choice every single day.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a single person that can say that they don't. You. What's the lesser of two evils beside, between driving the speed limit and speeding and getting caught and having to pay a ticket? You're gonna take the lesser of two evils. You know what I'm saying? Even if you might be in a hurry, you just gonna have to be late. But you don't take it. You're taking it as, but you take it as something that can the path of least resistance, or something that that's your only selection. That's your only selection that you see within that moment. Sure. But you're not just you know what I'm saying? It's just not just like you're either gonna pay the ticket, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna do it, pay the ticket, fight it. You got different methods that you can use to go against it. Yeah, but I think as it relates to this, because what you're saying is that there's other options. You know what I'm saying? Like majority, I don't even think a majority of the people don't know that. It's just what we continue to this what we've grown accustomed to. There hasn't been one single election that I can think of where you haven't had a third party. In quite some time. You've had a third party, if not a fourth and a fifth, or whatever the case may be. So, there's always been multiple options. I think the biggest problem is uh your willingness to kind of dig and do your own research, number one. Number two, majority of people are afraid to stand alone, especially because it's gonna hurt. So it's kind of that herd mentality, because I don't want to stand by myself and be out here on an island by myself voting for, I'm saying, the Green Tea Party candidate, or the Libertarian Party candidate, so I'll just follow the herd, and like I said, a lot of people are just uneducated, I mean, that's honestly what it boils down to, I mean, think about it like this, why do you think that you can't, most of the time you can't easily go find information on a given candidate? Like, they don't want you to see it. You know what I'm saying?
Let me say, you said a lot of people are uneducated. I'll tell you this: a lot of people are educated. What do you say? Are educated. What do you say to that?
I don't believe that to be true.
A lot of people. There's a lot of people that are educated.
In politics?
Yes. Yeah.
A lot of people? Nah, I don't feel like a majority of the voting public is super educated. I think that what you get is, you get convinced to buy into a general topic without understanding the details of it. Take anything like, take something like immigration reform. How complex is the real argument? How complex is the real argument? But if you were to agree with the Republican stance, but you a Democrat, then your Dems gonna be like, hold up, whose side you on? Or vice versa. So there's not a lot of, I'm not going to say neutrality, you know what I'm saying? Because neutrality is not the right word to use, but there's just not a lot of ability to make a decision based off of a given subject matter. It's either you swing one way or you swing the other. That's your only options. Like, that's how it's presented. It's presented if you ain't far left, you far right. You know what I'm saying? If you're not conservative, there's levels of conservatism. There's levels of being a liberal. You know what I'm saying? So, but you don't get to say, well, I'm conservative about this, but I'm liberal about this, even when we all know that's the truth. Even when we all know that's the truth, because we're all conservative about certain things and we're all liberal about other things. And sometimes we're all liberal, we just don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying?
I want people to take a look at this. Anybody who's watching, I want y'all to look up the Smith-Mundt Act. Mundt, M-U-N-D-T.
Mundt.
The Smith and Mundt Act. It's the U.S. Formerly before that known as the U.S. Informational and Educational Exchange Act. If I believe, I might have some of the words twisted around, but it's the Smith-Mundt Act, made and put in the law in 1948. It basically gives you the beginning of all the propaganda of how the government basically has the control of the media propaganda that goes through that, our educational system, all facets of our life. And we talk about that all the time. So if you go through, I want everybody who hear this, look that up. The Smith-Mundt, M-U-N-D-T Act, because that's where it all begins. And they were dropping propaganda before that, but right there is where the government place there. They inserted themselves. They have control over how all of this stuff. So they can mold, they can create villains, they can turn anybody into a villain. Just like we talk about, anybody who's an anti-masker. You notice how in the news they putting on that. I saw something today. Man gets mad and storms away from the voting booth because he has to wear a mask. Now, why does that hit the news? Why does something hit the news? And I'm all for personal establishments. I'm all for personal establishments enforcing whatever rules that they have. Now, I do believe that the leaders of these establishments, these personal properties and businesses, that they're moving mindlessly because they're just going with whatever the government's going. Shout out to the gym owner in New Jersey, the Tillis gym up there, for actually taking a stand, and standing up for his constitutional rights because he understands what that entails. Reason why I say is educated, you can say they're educated, it's just, are they educated the correct way? They're being miseducated because they're being directed in a certain direction. Now, Trump is bullshit. We know Trump is bullshit. He says silly shit. A lot of his shit is rooted in lies. Like I said, I look at both of them, and I don't even see the lesser in two evils when you start weighing down their policies. If anything, I'll say, because a lot of people look at it backwards, they'll say that Donald Trump is unpredictable, and you don't know. No, wait. Let me make sure I got this right. No, they'll say you know what you're getting from Donald Trump, but Joe Biden is, you don't know, what may happen. You don't know what may happen, but, and a lot of people believe it's going to be better than Donald Trump, where I actually believe it's backwards. Joe Biden, you know exactly what you're going to get. Donald Trump is the actual the unpredictable one. You don't know what direction he's gonna go. A lot of the things that he's done, a lot of the things that they say he's done, he actually hasn't passed in law. Like I saw something that said he's against weed. He's against marijuana. Everybody loves the marijuana. Said he's against marijuana laws and different things like that. It's like, nah, he just left it up to the states, which is the way he's supposed to do. Now, your boy Joe Biden's against that. But like I said, marijuana is the very last thing anybody should be worried about. Joe Biden wants to ban assault rifles, different things like that. We've seen Trump openly be for the red flag laws. And I mean, you could just go down to different policies. Immigration, they're pretty similar. Girl Jo Jorgensen, she wants open borders, completely free open borders. That right there, I have a problem with that for various reasons. You know what I'm saying? To just know, just people just walking freely across the border. But yeah, your everything that's been given to you, everything that and you'll see it with the responses with people when you ask them on different things. Everything has been what's the word? Usurped. Everything has been usurped. You know what I'm saying? There's another word. It's been hijacked. Your whole, your means of communication, mainstream media, everything, your education, it's all been hijacked. It's right there within your act. They put that there for that exact reason, and it's actually listing that for you. So when people people can't just go jump into, this is a conspiracy theory or different things like this. No, they're diverting you whatever direction that they want you to. They've got everybody in this left versus right paradigm. So that's what when Lawrence, just brought up talking about, how, it's not a waste of a vote. I heard somebody before, they say, and a lot of people think, that could be a waste of a vote, or, or this person comes here, Kanye comes and that's splitting up the vote. Somebody's got to, when you voting for libertarian or whatever, or doing the writing, somebody has to start the somebody's got to start the train to dig us up out of this hole, because they've got everybody locked into this left versus right. You know what I'm saying? This left versus right paradigm, which they want to have. You know, they're basically two wings of the same body, left wing, right wing, and they operate in this controlled opposition. If you look all the way throughout history, it's always been controlled opposition, and this left versus right thing is no different. So
Like
what
an airplane.
yeah, exactly. So what you're seeing now, is with people locked into this shit. Man, you got one side that could be saying, you know, whether it's left or right, they could be saying something right. They could be saying something that's completely valid. But because they're locked with that, because they looked at, oh, that's just a Republican talking point. Oh, that's just a Democrat talking point, different things like that. So people just completely throw out all logic. You got Joe Biden. Joe Biden, he says if he gets put in office, he's going to make mandate on masks. That's federalized, and that's a violation of the 10th Amendment. You're not leaving it up to the states. You're making a federal mandate, and you're openly stating that. But because people are miseducated, like I said, many people are educated. They're educated. They've been given their education, but they haven't been given all of the education. They've been miseducated and been led to believe what's right and wrong and this and that. Who's the bad guy? And usually where our history goes, the winner tells the history, right? Mm-hmm. So, you got that. Trump, like I said, Trump's got, Trump's in there sending in the ATF. Now, we know a lot of people are agreeing with ATF being within their city, right? Because, you want to stop the crime. Like I said, I've told y'all over and over again, Black people are always going to be used. We're going to be used for reasons to infringe upon the rights because of the dysfunction because of the dysfunction that's been going on, due to our history, so we have a lot of dysfunction, and that gets used as a catalyst. But sending in the ATF, just like Lori Lightfoot in Chicago, I can't stand fucking Lori Lightfoot. Sit up there telling people you can't get a haircut, shit like that. You can't get a haircut, closing down businesses, and then she pops up with a haircut. Oh, it's because my position is important. My position is important, more important than your position, even though you're somebody who's put in position by us, you're really our servant, you're a public servant. But they've been forced to believe, because of perception, they've been forced to believe that they're over us. But she was against that. She was against the whole, sending the ATF and sending the federal troops into the Chicago, and got to talking to Trump or whatnot, and then she was like, "Oh, okay." And they've done their things. They put out and said they'll be working with the local police, and I haven't heard anything of them infringing or different things like that, infringing on people's rights. But understand that they're known as an international organization, so they have different immunities. They have different immunities put into place by I can't remember the exact HR bill or whatever it was, but it's put into place by Ronald Reagan. So they have immunity. So a lot of the things that you gonna cry about, it ain't gonna work with them. It ain't gonna work with them because it's far above you. It's far above you at that point. But sending them in just at that point, just out the blue, without having the state make that recommendation, sending the federal troops and different things like that, that's a violation. But see, we've gotten so remember the show we did talking about how convenience is killing us. We don't want to go through the hard step. We don't want to take steps, and we don't want to have order, which is a huge problem. That goes on with just everybody nowadays. Nobody wants any type of order. Everybody wants to do what they want to do, and everybody wants everything to come convenient. And it fucks up everything. But
I don't mean to cut you off, but it's interesting that we're having this conversation now about, the two-party system and shit like this. Well, I just hopped on Facebook, what I'm saying, just for a hot second, to share the show. And there's a conversation going on in a whole nother thread, about somebody asking, why when I show up to the poll, do you ask me what ballot I want? And there's a lot of conversation within that thread in regards to, I don't understand that either. So when we get off of this, I'm gonna jump into it because I feel like the conversation is there. There's just no action behind the conversation.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest issue, is a lot of times we have these open-ended conversations, but then when you are forced to put it to action or forced to defend your stance and your reasoning against somebody that, would oppose you, for the lack of better words. We had a lot of people have the tendency to back down, and just be like, I don't want to fight. You know what I'm saying? This is just how I feel. And it's like, nah, let me convince you, because there was a time when the Democratic Party
feelings. That's how they feel. That's the worst thing you could ever hear when you having people trying to piece something or trying to do maintenance on something, talking about how they feel. Imagine if you sit up there, take your car to the auto body shop and you trying to get, trying to get a diagnosis, and your mechanic comes back talking about what he feels like. what he feels like the problem is. Imagine that. You're gonna look at him crazy. I feel like it might be your axle. Like, is it or is it not?
Yeah.
Is it or is it not?
Let me ask you this though, and I'm just asking to be asking. Well, actually, I'm asking for a response. But there's a saying that you can't blow anything up from the outside and it have real impact. You have to get on the inside to do it. So what would you say to somebody that got in and then switched up?
You said that got in and then switched up. What do you mean switch up?
So let's say somebody was like, I'm running as a Republican because I know that's what it's gonna take for me to win.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get in and then I switch the game up. What would you say? Because you consider that person to be a mole. You know what I'm saying? That person is a mole once they get in. You know what I'm saying? So what would you say?
Who did you speak to give you these different views? And that would make you switch up. That's what I would ask.
But what if that was their whole intention?
I mean, but you can't, if that's your intention, it's got to work, but you can't be mad if a motherfucker, saying you start, like if I go out there and say, I'm going to ban all guns, I'm going to take away, there's no more personal property. There's no more personal property because I want to be able to shut down your business whenever COVID-19 comes and the whole public goes, clap, 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 clap. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people in the public love that because they want to hear that. So if I have a militia, all of a sudden a well-regulated militia, like it says in the Second Amendment, come after me and come get my ass, and lawfully detain me, can you be mad? And I'm just talking about as a response. And like I said, and it does say in your law book that any infringement upon those, it actually says in your law that infringement upon anything within the Bill of Rights is punishable by death at maximum.
Yeah. Not
punishable by death.
But no, I mean you can't be mad. No, you can absolutely not be mad if somebody come for your neck.
Right.
You can't be mad about that, at all. But it's an interesting thought process. You know what I'm saying? If you can work your way in and then really start causing trouble, because if you listen to some of these politicians, turn on some motherfucking C-SPAN. You know what I'm saying? When these fools having a conversation, and some of these people are logical. Like they really don't. They don't lean one way or another. Like they try to have a logical conversation that could support both sides, you know, or provide a level of you know, clarity, you know what I'm saying? And so it's interesting, you know, because you be like, all right, and then you look at their title and it say, you know, Democrat. But you like, but that's not a democratic point of view. You know what I'm saying? So what are you a Democrat? Like you, so I'm just kind of getting those wheels spinning. You know what I'm saying? I mean, ultimately you want to be who you are. You know what I'm saying? I think your true authentic self, most of the time people can read through or at least read that you don't really seem to be coming across as being authentic. Uh but hell, we get the wool pulled over our heads all the goddamn time. So you know what I'm saying? So but I like I said, I mean, an independent party person, you know, tell me to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Because do you follow the rules of the independent party, or do you follow like that's the thing? Like with politics, there's rules of engagement, and if you get outside of those rules, you lose support of the people that you claim to represent. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, because of those rules of engagement, and that's where it gets ultimately that's where it gets tricky. I do believe that there's hope. It's just that the voices ain't loud enough right now. Like, you know, the same way, you know, the Democrats scream, the same way Republicans scream, other people have to have that same voice, even if it's less numbers. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes I think that's part of the problem is, you know, you like, well, fuck it, I don't want to argue, or I'm tired of arguing, so you just shut the hell up, and then everything dies off. You know, last election, the independent party got the highest number of or highest percentage of votes of any non-Republican or Democrat party in the history of the presidential election. They got damn near 10% of the vote, which is big. That's big to take away 10% of the vote away from Republicans or Democrats, and it makes you wonder, like, should they have gone after the non-voters? Nobody goes after the non-voters too much because it takes extra effort. It takes more foot soldiers to go after the non-voters, you know. And so what would happen if they went after, you know, some of those non-voters? Because, you know, voting has a porous percentage. It really does. You think people go out and vote? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. 10%. 10% of people actively go vote all the time. All the time. 10%. You know, that's saying something right there. That's saying something. Go back and look at the last presidential election. Compare the number of voters to the percent of population. The shit's sad. The shit's sad. That lets you know how a majority of the world really, really feels. They're either telling you they don't give a fuck, or they're telling you, I don't like neither one of them, so I'm just gonna sit on the couch and watch the results. Like that's telling. You know what I'm saying? That's absolutely telling that you have such a large percent of the population that doesn't vote, even though they have the right to vote. They either don't believe or they just don't care. Now the don't care is scary because though that's when you have situations where anything goes and you can get a president or anybody in any elected seat to be able to come and run roughshod on your shit. You know what I'm saying? And again, you can't complain because you didn't go vote. You didn't put your vote out there to say. You on mute. Say it. Take your phone off mute. You on mute, Corey.
Here we go. Okay. Now I won't even necessarily say I won't even necessarily say that they can't complain because
You can complain, it just ain't no merit in your shit.
huh?
What's the merit? What's the merit in your shit?
Nah, because if you're sitting up there, if you don't like if you don't like what they've got in front of you, you believe
Writing.
huh? But what if there's no writing? But what if there's no writing? Who else do you know is talking who's talking like us? Who else you know that's talking like us? Who else that you know personally?
I mean, I know some.
I've been giving people the shit. The politician. You see, we've been on calls with politicians. We've been on calls with police officers. They don't even know their damn law. When they get in front of me, they get an education. I've talked with so many different people. They're going to get an education, whether it's them, whether it's just your everyday citizen. There's so much that people don't know. So who else is knowing these different things? Even when you go,
I know people that's talking like this. It's just,
I'm saying,
it's a small percentage.
But it's such a small percentage. It's such a small percentage. Even when you start talking about independent media within itself, it's still small within that sector. If you want to start going to YouTube, you're not finding really anybody who's talking like this. I can name just a couple off the back of my hand. There's a lot of people that think they're going the right direction, but like I said, their information has been compromised. A lot of us are only getting what we've been fed. I can't even say, you know what I'm saying? Because I can't even say 100% compromised, because if it's out there, you got different, you know what I'm saying, things that are out there. You got different. It's just not it hasn't been made available to them, and now you're in the age of censorship, man. You're in the age of censorship, man. They're censoring everything. You saw what just happened the other day with the doctor. And like I said, you got people cheering that shit on. They're not even looking at it. You got people going back and forth on whether the doctor was right or whether she was wrong, and you know what I'm saying, and shit like that, where that's not even the basis. Where people should, whether she was right or wrong should not matter. I don't give a fuck.
About the white coat. You talking about Sheila with the white coat?
Is that, I don't even know her name, but yeah, the one that was
her name either. That's just who I'm titling her today.
The one that was up there talking about hydroxychloroquine, and people don't even understand. See, this is the priority. The priority. See, once people start understanding this shit, they'll be able to do things like vote or participate in these things or decipher through these things once they understand what things take precedent and what takes priority. And
you better go get Sealy.
Yeah, and just the fact that they were able to write that off, you know what I'm saying, to be able to any platform that sit up there and openly bans her, you should have a problem with that platform. You should be calling that platform out. But they only get away with it. And they have the right as a platform to do that. See, what we're allowed, because we're literally so damn powerless, and we have a bunch of people, like I said, that choose convenience. So you don't have a bunch of people that are trying to create an opposition to those platforms. You got those oppositions, but then on top of that, it's getting people to flock over to those platforms. Because like I said, that all goes into the entertainment aspect and different things like that. All of that falls within the Munt Act. It's all about right, and exactly what you're willing to sacrifice, and people aren't willing to sacrifice anything for that. Just the fact that they were able to put that out and just take her off the air like that, whether she was right or wrong, it's an alternate perspective. Because who's the fucking say that everything that's been given to us within the media? I just put up a news clip the other day talking about how with sugar, how the sugar industry were paying off doctors back then to say that fat was the leading cause. The sugar industry. Yeah. Now, they're both bad for you, but like I said, playing the propaganda, like, it's just fat. You know what I'm saying? The sugar ain't that bad. And you know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, they're sitting up there putting some of the worst shit, you know what I'm saying? Passing off, putting fructose, high fructose corn syrup. That's the everybody in the hood be drinking, be getting that Robert's juice from the corner store. I used to be on that shit heavy because the shit was cheap. You know what I'm saying? That is the worst possible thing you can have. But if nobody tells you that, I had to have a white lady. I forgot where I was at one day, man. We were somewhere and I forgot what we was there for, man. And a white lady was just in another room, was holding a little, I guess, kind of meeting. She was just in the area and just holding, kind of a presentation. And she had just wrapped it up, and she saw me walking in the hallway. And, it's like, hey, would you like to hear about this, about your health? You know what I'm saying? It's only going to be a few seconds. Like, I'm asking, I don't got to sign up for nothing, this and that. I'm like, no, you ain't got to do none of that. You know what I'm saying? It's just, just want to give you some information. And I had no idea about I had no idea about high fructose corn syrup. Started going down the list of things and, just looking at the back of the packages on your thing, you know what I'm saying, the things that you consume. And it's not just juice. You know what I'm saying? Y'all sit up here eating Nutri-Grain bars and shit like that and thinking it's good for you. It's just as bad. That's got fructose in it. You got to look at the things and even research. But like I said, it's about...
It's fructose.
Huh?
It's fructose.
Like that corn syrup.
I know what the fuck it is. It's not fructose. It's
fructose, man. That shit's all bad for you, man. That shit have you in the morgue, man. But it's just things like that if you're not introduced to the information, you're just gonna go through life just knowing what you know.
You gotta be willing. Here's the thing, man, and I stand firmly by this. Sometimes the numbers don't matter. Sometimes for what we're talking about, the numbers matter, but sometimes the numbers don't matter. Sometimes it's just about convincing as many people as you can, and so it does go back to, what are you willing to sacrifice, or how do you present your shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, is your message appealing, or is it just like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes you just have to make an appealing message to get people's attention.
That's the best way to do it. But we still gotta get people out of that mindset of appealing. But you do have to.
No, you don't. Like,
no. I'm talking about
convince people without appealing to their nature.
No, because that's how. Especially if you're a follower of the word, you'll understand that. And I say this all the time: the devil will always be appealing. So. No, that's something for the person like you or I, or person that's presenting the information. But as far as the people who are receiving information, see, it's more.
I'm talking
responsibility.
I'm talking about the presenter though, because if you're not presented something that's appealing, you're probably not going to even pay attention to it.
Yeah.
So it is. So that's what I'm saying, and I'm not saying that, all these people in some of the smaller parties aren't appealing, because they are, I mean, a lot of what we deal with in politics, is the same thing we deal with in life, which is just a herd mentality. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to follow the herd. I'm going to do what the herd does. But every once in a while, you do get somebody that say some shit that's appealing, and you be like, well, hold up. Now, the problem is true. We living in an information era where the minute you say something that somebody don't agree with, you know what I'm saying, we got that cancel culture. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that motherfucker crazy. I'm going to have to cancel him. And before you know it, you know what I'm saying, media got your ass out there. You know what I'm saying? And so, but if you're clear, if you present a clear message, like let's take Kanye, for instance, you know what I'm saying? When he talked about the Harriet Tubman thing. It wasn't that he was lying. It was the way he presented the shit. You know what I'm saying? The presentation was flawed. You should have went into more detail, before you jumped into the next topic that you wanted to do. You wanted to give everybody $1 million for having a fucking baby. Like, let's go back to the Harriet Tubman and elaborate on what you're trying to say. Help people understand your message, because that's why people appear to be whack jobs, because they say shit like, well, Harriet Tubman just took the black people from one slave master to the other. Well, explain that. What are you saying? Because if you say it like that, you sound like a fucking nut job. Like, that's what you sound like, because people aren't able to understand where you coming from, and that's hard. You know what I'm saying? That's hard to make a statement, and then you gotta go explain the shit, because explaining the shit takes more time. But are you trying to convince people that you right, or are you just trying to make a blanket statement to get shock value? Because if it's about the shock value, then shut the fuck up. But if it's not about the shock value, there's a different meaning. Then go deeper. Like, I'm gonna go deeper, which you got my attention by saying what you said with the shock value statement. Now go deeper. You know what I'm saying? Because you got my attention, but don't lose my attention either. And I feel like sometimes like I said, we give up so quick when we have people's attention. It's like a salesman. I didn't sold the car to you. I just never asked you if you wanted to buy it. I didn't told you everything about this car. You like, damn, man, shit, I'm about to, man, let me call my grandma and see if she let me borrow 1,000. But as the salesman, let your ass get up and like, so you want to buy this car or not? They done already sold the motherfucking car to you, and they don't even know it. And so that's another way to think about it.
That's very true. I just want to give a couple examples. Example, when I sit up there and I said when you brought up when people say I hear, but the mechanic brought up that comparison. You got to make it where people digestible so they understand it, or even that. What do I always say when I even talk about? Because, like I said, people have had a ton of objections when it's come to this coronavirus and shutting stuff down. And the state should be shutting your stuff down. What have I always said? And it's not, and I know it's appealing, but also it has to have truth. Everything I say has to have truth when, has to have truth in it. And what I always say is, if you're going to allow that to go down, they don't need to drop bombs to start your, and this is not even to get a discussion about what we should do with Black Wall Street, because I have a way of thinking, that's changed as times have changed. But if you want to start a whole new Black Wall Street, a whole Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Wilmington, North Carolina, or wherever, if you want to start that, you'll never be able to get that going. They don't even need bombs no more. They won't need bombs no more. And I tell people that, and it's like, damn, you're right. You know what I'm saying? You're right. Because what's the objection? There's no way around that, because any single time you want to get stuff going, all we got to do is drop something, sprinkle some germs up in the air. We did the video on that. We did that video talking about that, the history of experimentation. We did a whole video, and tonight I'll go on Facebook and I'll drop a video from the YouTube channel. Really graceful. It's not even going to be the link. It's going to be directly on from the page, and it's going to talk about human experimentation, different ones. So it's been a long documented history without that. But see, when you start presenting those different things, it starts, okay, I'm all ears, because if we don't say nothing or we just keep it at, we should have it because it's all right. People aren't hearing that. You know what I'm saying? So you're 100% right when you're talking about making it appealing, and it's up to us to make a case also, you know what I'm saying, that appeals to the listeners' ears, gets them listening and understanding those things. Yeah.
Man, we done got so off topic. We so far from the president.
No, it's not because it's a part of the topic. It's part of the
Yeah.
topic. Like I said, I respect whichever direction that people go, but they just got to understand how compromised everything that's been fed to them. They got to understand what they're really doing. And like I said, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But at some point, we're gonna have to dig out of this hole because these candidates, especially the left and the right, and we may not even know somebody who's independent, somebody in the independent. Joe Jurgensen could be a mole, or somebody say Joe Jurgensen could be compromised. Joe Jurgensen could be somebody who's been bought off. That's why you don't see her really, you know what I'm saying, trying to push and make that rally to get in there. But also they don't push independent on TV at all. So you can't say they're really making that push or even trying to shed a light. A lot of people don't even know about her. But like I said, you just never know. So when you start talking about you got things like write-in, y'all have to understand the power within that write-in. A few years ago when D's Nuts, when they had D's Nuts, had gotten had gotten you know what I'm saying, not a high percentage, but actually showed up on the poll because people were putting that shit in there. Yeah. So you know what I'm saying? So yeah, you got power. It's showing you got the power in your hands and you can make a decision, but it's all up to people doing, like you said, having sacrifice, doing the due diligence, actually going out and having, you know what I'm saying, communing with everybody, you know what I'm saying, meeting up with everybody and having these discussions and trying to pull together the funds to get the message out and things like that. And what you're just seeing, as years go on, is we're just becoming more and more divided. So having something like that is just becoming more and more less likely because of how divided we are, based on, like I said, our color, our ideology, different things like that. And like I said, and like our last episode when we were talking about indifference, our bias, you know what I'm saying, our bias and indifference toward each other. So we're not even trying to hear each other out or even have the conversation, because the second that we hear something that, somebody says and it don't sound right, we tend to just turn, and turn our ears off. And like I said, a lot of that's come from the media. I'm going to say it again. Look up this month, the Smith and Month Act, MUNDT, Smith Month Act. The U.S., I'm not even going to try to say what the U.S. Information and Educational Exchange Act. That is the root of the propaganda that you see going on in your media. So you should already know that everything is compromised. Everything is compromised. That was one of the... Actually, when they were trying to pass it, that was one of the things that was holding up the bill, because it was realizing that the state could, can manipulate things. You're giving all this power to the State Department and realizing how they can manipulate these different things and the information that the public consumes.
Yeah,
so
there's a lot of, and there's so many layers to politics, man. Like, I mean, luckily, presidents get 2 terms and they got to get the hell out for a little bit.
Yeah. But if you got a bunch of people who are just following the script, they can operate people in and out. Do you believe that? They can operate people in and out, like I said, of the controlled opposition. So they'll have a Democrat this year, then Republican the next year, Democrat this year, Republican next year. You'll sit up there thinking, at least we get a change and different things like that. And not everything's going just as planned, because you see in those different, you'll see at certain points that, they'll disagree on different things like taxes and different things like that. But when it comes to things like taking away your rights and different things like that, things that can protect you, they'll come right together.
Well, but that's the importance. And that's where it gets tricky. I'm not going to say importance. That's where it gets tricky, because the system is so wrapped around the 2-party system, that if you even started talking about that, let's say you got voted in and you start talking about goddamn, human rights, people going they gonna be like, man, turn his mic off. Where's the moderator? Turn his mic off.
Yeah.
When everybody should be should be respected and listened to, in some capacity. I mean, hell, sometimes you got to scream or talk over somebody to make sure that your point is made and your point is heard. But everybody should really just respect, shut the hell up and listen. A politician's job in a lot of ways is to talk, right? And so when you got two people talking and that's their job, who gonna shut the fuck up and listen?
Yeah.
you know, uh, and that's so it's a slippery slope. And again, politics has so many layers to it. I mean, you look at how old our presidential candidates are. Look how old they are. So you can't just think about Trump and Biden. You gotta think about Mike Pence and whoever Biden picks. Kamala Harris is supposed to be the front runner now. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta look at that because I mean, look at the two times in history you have had a change. Lyndon B. Johnson. You know, Lyndon B. Johnson did a lot of shit once he got that seat. You know what I'm saying? He ruffled a lot of feathers, once he took over for Kennedy. Well, who was the other one? Uh, was it Nixon? Yeah, when Nixon resigned. You know what I'm saying? Like those presidents that took over those seats, they did some shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's more than just looking at the president. You gotta look at they whole group. You know what I mean? Hell, Trump firing everybody. You ain't in my group. You fired. I gotta bring in one of my friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, so you also there's so many things to look at, and that's why it's so important for people. I wish people would take more time to vet out candidates. You know what I'm saying? Before we get to this point. I ain't talking about at this point. At this point, you screwed yourself. You know what I'm saying? But before we get to this point, hell, the Democrats have 30 people running at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
You know what I'm saying? Like now that was a little bit hard to keep up with, you know what I'm saying? Republicans are always seem to be a little smarter where they only give you like a top three and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else you go kick rocks. But you know, do your homework before the primaries come. You know what I'm saying? Understand who your candidates are, what they stand for. Go listen to the debates. Listen to them debate. Like, don't watch it. Listen to them debate. There's a difference. If you actually listen to what somebody's saying versus just watching it and hearing, sounds coming out of their mouth, words coming out of their mouth. Like, actually listen, take notes if you need to, so you can go back and be like, well, he said this and this doesn't quite make sense. Nah, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. We'll just roll. I don't remember what the fuck he said. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you get a lot of that. You get a lot of that on every level of politics where politicians talk and we're not listening. We can hear them, but we're not actually listening to what they saying. And then they get up in these seats and we be like, well, who the hell told them they could do that? You did. You did. You didn't raise no fuss about nothing. You were just like, hey, I don't remember what he said, or you followed the herd and you was like, well, everybody says I should do this. And it's so fun. Isn't that funny? In a time where everybody seems to want to do their own shit and I'm doing me, that we still end up just following popular opinion. Everybody doing me. I'm doing me, motherfucker. I'm doing me. Fuck them. But then we follow the herd.
Yep.
Then we follow the herd at the end of the day. That's amazing to me how that works. You know what I'm saying? That lets you know that, a majority of people are all bark, no bite. All bark, no bite, because they're not willing to stand. But at the end of the day, when the opposition hits you, you're not willing to stand by what you was talking about. You know what I'm saying? You wanna clap back on somebody till they get in your face, then you be like, man, that was my cousin on there. She was using my profile. So you know what I'm saying. So I mean, but again, if you want to affect change, man, you got to be willing to sacrifice something. You got to
Get out of convenience.
yeah, you got to be willing to sacrifice something. You know, you can take it out of the political context and go to the civil context. Look at Martin Luther King. Look at what that man sacrificed his life for all intensive purposes. He sacrificed his life, you know what I'm saying, to try to, improve the situation, you know what I'm saying, for black people. He made a sacrifice. He knew what he was sacrificing. That's why he said, I've been to the mountaintop. You know what I'm saying? He knew what he was sacrificing. You know what I'm saying? There was no question in his mind. He knew what he was sacrificing and he was still willing to go there. So the question that I pose is, what are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to give up to speak the truth to people? You know what I'm saying? What are you willing to be ridiculed by the majority to continue to speak the truth? Because that's what it's gonna be. You know what I'm saying? People gonna ridicule you. They gonna talk shit. They gonna do everything under the sun to try to get you to shut the hell up.
And that's the side that people don't want to be on. That's part of that's part of the main problem. People don't want to be on that side. They don't want to they'll sit around in the news and use the term minority all day, but they don't want to they don't want to be in the real minority, man.
Yeah, cause life is full of opportunities, man. You know, life is full of opportunities. You not like people be like, they always complaining. And there are people that's all they do is they complain. They just bitch. They have no solutions. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to be the person that goes against the grain, come with solutions. You know, I don't support this, but think about it. Think about this. What if we did this? Like I tend to turn people off that just complain all the time. I'd be like, I don't want to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that song. Why you don't like it? What would you do to fix it? You know what I'm saying? What would you do differently? I just don't like the song. Go away. Go away. I don't want to hear complaints. I want to hear people that will look at something, see a flaw in it, and say, okay, here's an opportunity to fix this to make it better. You know what I'm saying? And this is my solution to it. Because you have all these topics, man. You got fucking immigration, you got abortion, you have all these topics, and nobody really wants to talk about solutions. All they really want to talk about is what's wrong. Like, that's great. What's the solution though? What is your solution? If you're pro-life, you know what I'm saying, what are you saying to the pro-choice people? You know what I'm saying? They say I should have a choice. What are you saying that is a solution that they can vibe with? Or if you the opposite and you pro-choice, what would you say to a pro-life person? What's your solution? Stop coming with problems and come with solutions, because it's opportunities to fix anything. You know what I'm saying? You know, nothing's ever perfect. You know, we as human beings are vessels that are always trying to grow, always trying to evolve. So we're always trying to perfect. So there's always something that can be perfected and tinkered with and shit like that, but actually present something viable. You know what I'm saying? Don't present no bullshit. You know what I'm saying? That's what we get from a lot of politicians. It's lip service.
Yeah.
They offer no real solutions. They just give us lip service to make us go away, to make us shut the hell up. And that's what you don't want. You don't want the lip service. You want to be able to stand in front of a politician, debate something that he says, and he has a solution. You know what I'm saying? Not just, well, you know, my opposition over here, he says blah, blah, blah. Okay, what's your solution then?
Yep.
Tell me what's the solution. Whatever the problem is you have with how he feels, present a solution. Instead of just talking about the issues. We do that all the fucking time. We talk about the issues. We never talk about solutions, ever. It's just a bitch. And that, I don't know, man. That shit's fucking annoying. You know what I'm saying? That shit's annoying to just, it's just lip service, man. And that's a lot of what we getting, man. Yeah, I will say this about Trump. Trump don't give you a lot of goddamn lip service. That motherfucker may be off the wall, you know what I'm saying? But he doesn't give you a lot of lip service. You know what I'm saying? he means what he says, and he tries his damnness to make it all happen. You know what I'm saying? He's not giving you lip service. He may be special, you know what I'm saying? He may be special, but you know, in his own right, you know, he puts himself out there. He don't give a damn he don't give a damn how you feel about him. He doesn't. He don't give a shit. He's like, I'm doing what the fuck I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? And that's people gravitate to that. Like when you talk about why do you like Trump, that's the reason that people like him. Honestly, that if you talk to people, they'll be like, you know what? That's why I vote. That's why I would vote for him. I would vote. Motherfuckers ain't gonna vote. Anybody that says that's why I would vote for him ain't voting.
Trump gives lip service too. He packages it like it's you know what I'm saying, like he's straight up or whatnot. But Trump gives lip service.
He don't give you lip service.
Trump will tell you Trump will tell you one thing, man, and
he'll tell you some bullshit, but it's all self-serving. That's the problem.
Yeah,
all self-serving. It don't have shit to do with what's about the greater good or trying to do what's right. It's about trying to do what's right for me.
uh-huh.
You know what I'm saying? That's his problem. Is you know, it's all about him. You know, so
you remember part of his campaign what he said he was gonna do to Hillary.
Get her thrown in jail.
That was one of the main points of his campaign. Hey, as soon as he won, he was sitting up there. He was congratulating them at his damn inauguration and shit. He was talking, they're good people. Her and Bill, they're both good people.
Well, that's because they was hanging out with Epstein and them.
Epstein Island.
Let me shut up. That whole nother topic. That'll be next week on Word on the App. My bad.
Hey, y'all got anything else, man? We gonna wrap it up, man. Hopefully,
I didn't talk about that damn much tonight.
Yeah, man. Hopefully, everybody, man, learns something. If y'all got any critiques or anything, shoot them our way. Like I said, we're trying to build. We're trying to learn together. We are not. Don't take everything we say, you know what I'm saying, as law. Like you got to do the damn research yourself. Like I can sit here and tell you I'm here for your best interest, which you know what I'm saying I am. But you know what I'm saying. But always take that at you got to do the work. You got to do the confirmation your damn self. So
I do it for you. I do it for you.
I do it for you.
I say is the truth. I do it for you.
Man, you need to be up there, man, with the donkeys and the elephants, man. Then that period.
Man, I'm a T-Rex.
Yeah, said T-Rex, you gonna create your own new party. The Jurassic Party. Nah, man. Hey, for us, one second, man. I want to say, man, I want to see something, man. This is to the youth out here, man. I want to give RIP to the rapper FBG Duck. That was FBG Duck. You probably never heard of him.
FBG Duck.
Yeah, his name's FBG Duck. He was actually one of the. Chicago has a. We're hip hop heads. Chicago has a strong influence on not only just hip hop in general, but the lingo of the youth.
Did you say Duck?
Yeah, Duck. Yeah. Okay. They got a strong influence on the mannerisms of the youth. Yeah, that's crazy. That shit. He was one of the. I guess. So say the founders, one of the main ones. He's been in it for a while. He was just shot and killed today. He was just shot.
Like RBG?
Like RBG, yeah. That FBG, yeah. Let this be a lesson, man. Let this be a lesson. Y'all seeing the stuff like this fold in front of you. It's you're not bulletproof. You're not bulletproof at all, man.
Simple.
I mean, I can't say it no plainer than that, man. I can't say it no plainer than that. Kansas City, man, I've watched just so many young men, friends, family. But you know what I'm saying? Then just young men, I've watched so many people just pass away, man, and it's never, you hear a lot of people that say, it felt normal at one point. It's never felt normal to me. It's never felt normal. It's sad. Uh, and like I said, you're just seeing this, you're seeing the stuff play out right in front of your eye, man. And this is someone who's been in Chicago. He made a name for himself, started blowing up. But he wanted to stay in his hood. You know what I'm saying? I know he put out a song, last year. It was what's called Chicago Legends, and it was supposed to, bigging up people from, I guess, his opposition and, his side, bigging up the guys. But I think he kind of slipped back into the dissing and the beefing and, all that stuff ain't worth it, man. It's not worth it. I don't know how to get it. It ain't worth your life, dog. It ain't worth your life, man. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know.
KRS said it best, man. He said, "Ain't no real men in rap."
Nah, man. Ain't no real men in rap, and that's why the youth is gone, because it started from back then. You know what I'm saying? You got people just
let me say this right quick
for $1. You know what I'm saying?
Let me say this right quick, since you talking to the youth, man. Let me talk to some of you motherfucking old heads for a hot second, man. Stop criticizing. Stop criticizing. Like, we are so critical of kids. You know what I'm saying? Why you talking like that? Why you move like that? Why you act like that?
Yeah.
Motherfucker, they got it from somewhere. And if they didn't get it from somewhere, they are reinventing because you never invested into them. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They are reinventing, or not even reinventing. Sometimes they are creating because somebody has to create. And if you're not willing to invest in them and willing to really ride and stick with them and be a mentor and a life guide, then don't sit here and criticize. Oh, man, them young Thundercats, man, they just lost. They lost because you ain't trying to help them find a way.
You're trying to help them find a way. It's starting at home, but not even that. But because the adults, the ego themselves, they're not trying to help them find a way. They say, how many times, it starts at home. How many times have we heard somebody say things like, one thing I can't stand is when people say like, nobody showed me the way, so I'm just figuring it out as I go along. But my question to you is, are you asking questions? Are you asking questions, or is your ego too big that you feel, it may be a person that, just like we talked about, indifference and looking at people as, oh, that person's crazy, or they may not have as much money as you, and different things like that. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, is that indifference? Is your ego keeping you from receiving these things? Who are you asking questions? See, it's our, that wall that we're putting up with each other, man, that we're not able to receive any information and therefore, you know what I'm saying, be able to route that to our children, man. So exactly, Lawrence said, man, you can't blame them. They just coming up in what they see. And like I said, the Smith and Munt Act and all type of stuff, everything that you see on that television is called programming. It's a propaganda machine. And if you're not protecting them from that, man, and it's just a daily basis, it can't be no, oh, I'm tired, I don't feel like saying nothing to them today, then your stupid ass shouldn't have had no goddamn kids. I don't feel like hearing man, it's a every second. It's a job for every second. And down to the detail. And until we get it right, man, we just gonna keep seeing more, man, going their own way. And like I said, do what you can, but like, let's get some information. So, you're not just, because even the one that you bring up, and you brought them up the right way. If they're not creating an aura or a circle of people around them to where they can feed the perfect information, they may get caught up. How many times have we seen people, you know what I'm saying, just They at the wrong place, the wrong time. Got the, you know what I'm saying? With, you know, they may not be caught up in anything, but because they linked and they're, you know what I'm saying, they're affiliated with this person, they gonna catch it just as well. But man, yeah, I you know, it's we gotta understand there's got to be an understanding. People in church, man, we got to stop this split of the church. Like there has to be an understanding of the spiritual aspect, understanding how life, the order, because we see how life works. We see there's an order to life. So there has to be something that's instilled upon the children also, there to where they even understand. See, when you talk about fear of God and different things, or even fear of a higher power, there has to be even an understanding that's where we're at, because you know, I don't even, we got to get the basics down, but there has to be an understanding to that also, because you know, just man, they just losing their life, man. They just losing their life, dog, and you know, yeah, I don't know, man. It's just sad, dog. We down a whole cycle, man. I was just looking at that, and I'm like, man, I'm like, you know, you always see what goes on in Chicago, but it's like that everywhere. You see it in Kansas City, man. Kansas City, Brooklyn, St. Louis, murder capital, man. You know, Cali, man, wherever, dog, in the inner cities, dog, is crazy. And we can't be sitting up there just saying shit and saying crazy shit for convenient, you know what I'm saying, for convenient value. When somebody tells you, no, yo, it's a problem. It's a problem going on here, you know what I'm saying? And you want to start talking about, well, people kill wherever they kill at. You know what I'm saying? Wherever they, you know, the people who's around them. Like, you got to start taking in the rate in consideration. There should be, if there's one murder somewhere, that should be a fucking problem. But you sit up there saying, you know, 85% of people out in the suburbs kill other people who are in the, you know, suburbs and shit like that. It's like, motherfucker, there's only been like 4 murders here since 2010, dog. You got to put stuff in the proper context. Just say it just to fuel your narrative, man. You sitting up there saying, man, we man, all these cities, man, and you seeing this year, man, all of these cities, man, damn percentage, man, of the van murder rate percentage is up, dog. This percentage is up, man. The body's just dropping, dog. We gotta, man, I ain't got the answers, dog, but we gotta start somewhere, and we really gotta start working on the kids' mind. And it starts from a youth. It starts at home, and it starts with each other. It's not just, you know, ignore the adults, because the adults are part of the problem. And a lot of things, a lot of the practices that we keep instilling on our children and telling them it's all right, it may seem like it's instilling, you know what I'm saying, some type of value, different things. And a lot of times we're actually, without the proper context, we're pushing them into their own grave, man. So we got to understand this shit. We got to start having these conversations. So RIP to that guy. I just saw it, man, before we went live, man. Like I said, he was somebody I was familiar with on that Chicago rap scene. So yeah, we gotta do better, man. We gotta end this shit. But like I said, the further that we get away from each other and the more indifferent that we are, it's just gonna get worse. Because y'all gonna think that y'all can solve it on your own, and I'm smarter than everybody, and what I do is gonna right, and it's gonna keep spiraling. And like I said, you could save your child, but that shit could reach your damn child or somebody you love. You know what I'm saying? Because you stuck in your own world, and it'll never reach me.
Yeah,
gotta get it right, man. So that's all I gotta say.
I'm telling you, motherfucking people, this is the only podcast you can come to. We talk about the president and end on loving the kids. God damn it, the only podcast.
Oh, it's all about the kids, man.
Show us some goddamn love, man. I'm gonna start. Y'all motherfuckers better start showing us some love, man. I'm not begging. I'm asking.
The most unprotected group in the world is children.
The babies. Randy, take us home, man. Take us home.
So with all that being said, man, before we bounce out of here, what I need you guys is make sure you like, subscribe, tell a friend on Word on the App, Facebook, 3 Pyramids Network, YouTube. All the links should be in the description below. And if not, I will make sure I'll post it on the Word on the App page. But yeah, man. Also, man, Grit Sports Media. where you get your sports. You know what I'm saying? We'll unofficial referees, all that stuff. We'll be back. You know what I'm saying? Sports are coming back slowly but surely. Don't know how long baseball is gonna be there, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, man. With all that being said, thank each and every last one of you guys who watch the show, man. I appreciate every last one of you. My bad. We appreciate
Share that shit though.
each and every one of y'all, man. Make sure y'all share, tell a friend, and tell a friend. With all that being said,
Help us fight the algorithms. We're in a position, especially the stuff we talk about. I mean, it's self-evident. If you paying attention to everything, if you ain't paying attention, then you won't know. But the stuff that we talk about and we're taking the hardest path. So we definitely need help from the people because we're taking the hardest path that possible. When it comes to the information and fighting the algorithms and different things like that. Like, we coming up in a tough era, so help us out.
Sorry, Randy.
No, you good. I just seen something come up on my phone too. But no, yeah, man. What was I saying? Make sure you like, subscribe, tell a friend, and man, like I said, appreciate each and every last one of y'all, man. This is your ignorant, eclectic, mad genius, Randy Anderson, along with my co-host, man, Lauren, Corey Gilmore. We out, man. Peace.
Holla.